Hello, it's Arnas here, and welcome back to Dreadnought Nautical Domination. We are today in the final battle in the secondary brackets. And on one side we've got SMS Konig 1916 by Ferrum 4. And it's going to be fighting against Fracture by Delta Force. So let's begin. Both ships launching their projectiles at the same time. But without any success. I think that Konig is going to push quite deeply and try to close the distance with Fracture. It's got a very good hitting guns, but the Fracture, despite of the fact that has fewer guns, its projectiles are even more evil than that. Both parties have a relatively sizable heal potential. Okay, let's have a look. What kind of damage? I really wonder especially what kind of damage can be delivered to Fracture, but it seems that any real damage that could have been dealt was very quickly repaired. Okay, that was some concentrated barrage, but no, I don't think that it really went too deep. There's also some pressure from the torpedoes. I'm not sure if it's going to have significant impact, but the bow and stern of Fracture is quite fragile. So maybe, losing all that blocks could have some impact on the material and the repair rate. Who knows? Front guns shooting and clipping or not? Yeah, they definitely did clip. Konig just right in the at the bottom. Both ships are very close as far as repair budget is concerned, but actually Konig lost this rear super firing turret. So a significant portion of its firepower is actually gone. And this gun was also clipped just right now. Unfortunate. I think that, yeah, I think it's degraded. So only 3 turrets remaining out of 5. Alright, this Torp did some spectacular damage to this wooden frame. But I think Fracture is just going to shake it off. So very close. Barrage. Shells penetrating. Yeah, it's a pity that From the Depths does not have any mechanics that would favor the kinetic shells to be shot from a close distance. So basically, throughout its whole lifetime, the kinetic shells have the same kinetic energy, so the same damage is being dealt. Unlike in the real life, where that kinetic damage is being bled out due to drag, of course, mainly. Okay, looks like Fracture was able to make quite a sizable gap between the HP pools of 2 ships. So Konig repair rate is is just cannot keep up with the damage done. And the rear turret is remains silent as well. It is still repairing stuff on its hull, but yeah, it's not repairing fast enough. Torpedoes are still being launched periodically, and they keep some kind of a pressure on Delta Force's craft. And you know, this damage looks impressive, but you know, this is a true armor, just what sits behind it. Okay, finally some good salvo landing on the gun itself. So it looks like this one gun have actually been clipped, but Fracture quickly repairs. I wonder if these oblique panels could be attacked by the torpedoes. I'm not sure what kind of effect that would have. Oops. Yeah, I think that a lot of these guns are highly degraded. It seems like Konig is having its hull pretty much in a very good state, but the guns is another story. They just couldn't repair up in time. I think this gun was trying, but it's disabled again. And there is no more repairs available on Konig. It looks like it's going to be quite a relatively easy win for the Fracture at this point. I'm not sure if some of those shells actually reached the bottom of the ship. Not sure about that. Okay, the ammunition is still there, definitely, and actually, okay, Fracture doesn't really suffer from any ammunition problems normally. And the fuel was, yeah, it's almost out of fuel. But I don't think it's going to matter that much. The gap between those ships is just too big, and Konig has only the torpedoes remaining, which just isn't going to be enough. Agility is definitely on the Konig side, but it wasn't really using that agility the same way as, for example, Hero of Tsushima did. So it tends to go into the close range brawl much more. And I think that Fracture was able to land some good hits during that approaches. Okay, drive by Konig, who really looks quite okay despite of the lacking guns. It really looks okayish. But still, the gap between the ships is just too big, and it's an impossible match now for Konig. And we have 40 seconds remaining till the end of the round. Damage done by the Fracture is really very characteristic. It the entry point where the shells actually land, it tends to be quite small, but the internal damage done is quite significant, quite huge. Yeah, it's the well-designed AP frag shell that deals all the damage. And all right, there we go. It's a secondary bracket, so we are only going to do one rounder if basically if the round is very decisive, and I think in this case it's quite clear. The Fracture defeated Konig with a sizable repair budget still intact at 100%. So, condolences to Ferrum with its great skirmisher SMS Konig. It was a Blade Dancer, a really nice, really well-designed ship, and from the both offensive, defensive, and from aesthetic point of view. It was a great entry, great to watch all the fights. So thanks for that, and congrats to Fracture, who is going to jump back into the primary brackets and have its final battle fought against Hero of Tsushima. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the last episode.